Okay, this is now the 5 Minute Tarot for the 15th of July, 2017. And today is Rembrandt's birthday. If he were alive, he'd be, I don't know, 300 and something. But Rembrandt, the Rembrandt van Rijn, and probably the greatest painter ever. And also my grandson, who's 4 today. So happy birthday, Eric. Okay, and you may notice I'm wearing yet another shirt from Wendy. She gave me this a while ago. So anyway. Okay, today, 2 things. One is I'd like to make an announcement. And then secondly, we're going to look at the original Celtic Cross, an example of it. And so the announcement is that you may know that I sell 3 things. I got the Tarot Home Study course, the tarottraining.com, and the tarotbook.com. And as of midnight on the 18th of July, which I think is Tuesday night, I'm going to double the prices and everything. So the tarot course at the moment is $97. It's going up to $197, and the tarot training is $107. It's going up to $197, and the tarot book is $9. It's going up to $19. So if you're interested, now might be the time to go. So what do you get? Why am I doing this? With me, you get expertise on this channel and my other various websites. And I think that's important. And also with me, you get information that you don't find anywhere else. You don't find it in books. You don't find it anywhere else on the internet. You also get personal help if you want it. And you only have to ask. And if I charge more and people pay more, then I can do more. So I'm sort of want to, this is partly to be more businesslike. And so that it's, if I'm organized, I've got a plan, I can schedule particular classes or videos or deal with certain topics, and I can actually plan it and organize it and produce extra material. I tried a newsletter and I did 3, but then it sort of fell by the wayside. So if I can sell more, then I can do more, and then I think we all benefit. Okay, so the second part is the original Celtic Cross, and this is because somebody left a comment. I have a video on YouTube produced, I don't know, 3 years ago on the original Celtic Cross, and somebody left a comment, and I thought, good idea. I'll do the Celtic Cross, the original Celtic Cross, for how should I develop, or how should we move this channel forward. So I'm going to put a diagram on screen, and there's 6 cards in the original Celtic Cross. So you get the first card goes there. There'll be a diagram on screen. And the second card goes off to the right. The third one goes up above. The fourth goes to the left-hand side. And that's a circular shape. But you've got 2 extra cards. One goes down below, and then one goes in the middle. And the one in the middle is what's called the unifying factor. And it's what brings it all together. And there's a couple of things about this particular spread. You're supposed to use only the major trumps or the minor trumps, and you're supposed to use cards that haven't been mixed together. So if you're going to do this, you need to get a new deck, and you need to separate the major trumps and keep them separate, and put the minor trumps separate and use them separately as well, and keep them separate, so that you shuffle and lay 6 cards, 6 major trumps or 6 minor trumps, and then you read what's there. And if you think about it, the 6 cards is like a cube that has been opened up, and so you can close the 2 at the side will go together. The one down below goes up above and faces the one in the middle, and then the first and the third card go kind of like that and go up. So you've got a cube shape, and so you can have cards facing each other, and that gives you a different type of understanding, a different way of looking at the cards in those positions. So it's a bit like you've got 3 pairs of opposites, and that's another way of looking at it. But for this time, what I'm going to do is walk through the 6 cards in chronological order, so to speak. So maybe what you do is you think about, I'm going to give you my answer, but you might have ideas or opinions about what more you can do with the layout. And then if you like the layout and you want to try it, you need to buy yourself another deck of cards and separate the major and the minor trumps and work with that. So the first card that I got, I shuffled for a while and cut. I knew the question, and it's, what are we going to do with this channel? And the first card that I got was the Lovers. So maybe that's saying, I'm going to just do a quick run through of this particular layout. So with the Lovers, maybe I personally am facing it. I was the one who laid the cards. Maybe I'm facing a choice about what direction I'm going to go in. Or maybe this channel is really for and ought to revolve around viewers who are facing a choice or who have to make a decision about what direction they want to go in with the tarot. Because you can be normal and conventional and use it for fortune telling, or use it to predict the future, or you can use it to throw cliches at people, or you can maybe do something better or something more important or more serious with it. So with the Lovers as the first card, it can be for people who are at kind of crossroads for themselves about what they're going to do with the tarot, with their studies, with themselves, and how they're going to live. But also because the Lovers is people, then maybe it's an indication that people ought to be involved with this particular channel. So I'm thinking more involvement with you. So maybe I can include Skype conversations with people. So we've got two pictures on screen at the same time and we have a discussion. Maybe interviews, as somebody suggested. Maybe what I can do is we can have somebody and I can discuss a reading with them on screen at the same time. So they tell me what the card was, what they made of it, but then we can maybe discuss back and forth what else they could have said or a different approach that they could have made with it. And so it might be useful for other people to see a tarot reading in action, so to speak, with commentary and with discussion about the cards that come up. And then maybe we can have a Zoom class, because there's Zoom, this technology where you've got a webcam and I've got a webcam, and we can all be on screen at the same time, and I can pick people and so on. So that's a possibility as well. So I'm thinking more interactive videos and more interaction between you, the viewer, and me here in Tarot Headquarters. I happened to watch Live Free or Die Hard at lunchtime earlier today, and the I forget the fellow's name, Kevin Smith, the actor, he's got his den, his central command, and Bruce Willis laughs at him. But anyway, okay. So the first card was the Lovers. The second card was the Wheel of Fortune. So the wheel is going up and coming down, and the wheel can show improvement as well as the opposite, or improvement and decay. So if we go back to the Lovers as the first card, maybe the Lovers followed by the Wheel of Fortune is saying this channel is for, or ought to be for, people who want to make right choices when they're going up as well as when they're coming down. So when things are getting better, it's important to make correct decisions as well. And when things are going badly, or when you're deteriorating, it's important to make correct decisions, or wise decisions about the best way to handle the decay or the downward path when things are going wrong, let's say. Because when things are going well, it's easy to do nothing or to get carried away and assume that everything is going to be great forever, and you forget that it's a wheel. And so you're going to reach the top, then you're going to have to go down again. So it can, the decisions that you make on the way up can be as important as the decisions you make on the way down. But it's easy to forget to make decisions on your way up because things are going well. You think you know what you're doing. So we've got the Lovers, then the Wheel of Fortune. The top card, or the card at the top, was the Hierophant reversed. So the Hierophant in some decks is called the Pope. And so it can represent religion and traditional teachings, conventional teachings, and normal beliefs and the stuff that people tell you, the usual approach. But the Hierophant, in this particular instance, is reversed. So it can be saying that conventional or typical teachings aren't enough, or they're not good enough. So with this channel, I'm supposed to, or we're supposed to do what isn't typical. So most tarot sites, most tarot resources, it's the same old stuff. They tell you their own variation of the normal approach, and they maybe give a different example, but it's basically all the same. So this channel isn't supposed to be all the same. So when I say all the same, what I mean is that most people will tell you that the major trumps represent spiritual lessons, whereas the minor trumps are like the nuts and bolts of everyday living. And I say, no, they're not. Why are the major trumps spiritual lessons? Because any card can represent anything. Any card can be a spiritual lesson, an everyday occurrence, a condition, a person, a characteristic, a character defect, a problem, a solution. There is no real difference between major trumps that are in some special category and minor trumps that are in this different category. But that's what conventional teachings would have you believe, or they would tell you. So they give you kind of artificial categories, and you learn them, and you think you're doing the right thing, but you're not really. So I think we don't want to do that here. But at the same time, I have good reasons, partly because of my background and the fact that I've been doing this for a while, as well as my own birth date. I have to mention birth dates, but I've got good reasons for saying what I say, and I can justify and back up the opinions that I've got. So they're not just weird, flaky, made up, sounding good ideas. There's a logic and a method and a foundation for what I'm telling you, partly because I had a good teacher. Anyway, so it's not like I just read a couple of books and I'm rehashing the information that I read from somebody else. Okay, the fourth card over on the left there is the Magician. So the Magician is number one. So maybe this site is for people who want to go it alone. Number one, alone. And if you think about it, or if you've been following the recent videos, you know I've been suggesting that you make your own blog, that you make your own site. So this fits in quite well with the Magician, where you learn the tarot, where you apply your knowledge, which is what the Magician does and what he represents. You develop skill and expertise. So this site is going to be for people who are not getting that much out of, or they're not getting enough out of conventional, traditional teachings that you get in basically all books and on most websites. So but with the Magician there, I'm saying you watching this right now, you should become a magician and develop skill, develop expertise, learn, develop the ability to manipulate, not to control people, but to look at different cards and symbolism and activities and be able to make connections. And so in that way, you're taking the bits and pieces of somebody's life and showing them how they can organize it and manipulate situations so that they can improve their own conditions or their own life and the challenges that they face and the types of experiences that they're going to go through. So you're manipulating not because you want to bamboozle them or control them or trick them, but it's more showing them how they can get the most out of their situation, even if it's not very good. So I'm saying be like the Magician, or be like a magician, and this is going to have an impact in different areas of your life. So that's kind of like the cycle we've got the Lovers, the Wheel, the Hierophant reversed, and the Magician. And you can keep going round and round, and that would be the cycle that you would experience. But you can step up, or you can step out of this particular cycle, and you can move to another level or introduce a new element. And that's where, so step one is going to be the card at the base of the layout. And it's a bit like the doorway to another kind of understanding, or a doorway to increased knowledge or to new possibilities. And here we've got the star. So this can mean that if you follow along with the kind of information that you're going to get from this channel, things are going to go well for you because it's a star. And it's also the star as a card of inspiration. So if you, the viewer, continue to visit this channel and you look for what motivates you and what excites you and put it into action, that's going to give you positive and beneficial results. Not just with your tarot studies, but for the kind of the quality of the readings that you do for other people, the quality of the information that you give them, as well as the quality of the decisions that you make in different areas of your own life. And in your own way, you're going to make a name for yourself. And this can be because you've got a blog that people, it doesn't have to be millions of people, but if you've got a blog and you've got 20 people who go there regularly and like what you have to say, that in its own way is making a name for yourself, because you've got something to say, which is important. And then the last card in the middle is the so-called unifying factor. And here we've got Judgment reversed. So this, I think, means when it comes to the tarot, when it comes to the channel, when it comes to doing readings for ourselves as well as for other people, we're not supposed to judge. So we can exercise analysis, but we don't start off by thinking, okay, this is good and that's bad. And we want to encourage what's good and discourage what's bad. Because if you go into the tarot with the idea that some things are good and some things are bad, then you're going to stay in the coffin and the lid's going to be closed. So with Judgment reversed, we have to be ready to respond to whatever grabs our attention or whatever calls to us. And this, I think, fits in with what Phil, okay, next is going to be Simone's, he's Italian, his video. And then we're going to look at a video sent by Phil in Australia. And I'm going to include some ideas about responding to what is offered or what life brings you, because it's easy to go through life and not see what's right in front of you, or not pay attention to what comes to you, because we ask for things and then we wonder why they don't happen. And I want to make the point that we ask for things, but we're not paying attention. So we've got it, but we just don't realize it. So we move beyond it, or we move past it. And then we start thinking it never worked, whereas it worked all the time. And that's what I'd like to deal with Phil, or Phil's video, and refer you to a couple of other points that I would make right now, but I've gone too long again. So I'm going to stop. So if you have comments or questions, let me know, and I'll talk to you again tomorrow. Okay, bye-bye.